Sway in the morning, Shade 45. Yo.
What happened?
A force of nature just came through the building.
That's a fact.
And I say he's a force of nature because you can't just define him by what we see on the surface. We got to meet him, most people, through this song we just played right here. That man went on to dominate the Billboard charts, put out music that's been certified platinum, double platinum, triple platinum. He got his own label distribution company where he got at least 4 different record labels under one LG distribution, where he got 4 different record labels. The man told me years ago about his quest to light up Africa. And we watched him through the process actually help to light up Africa. We didn't think it was going to happen. He told us about cryptocurrency early in the game.
Early.
Said that I see currency moving in a digital way, and if you're not up on it, then, man, you a fool. He said this to us at the B, and we watched it all manifest. And now he's back. And he's back different. He's El Negrito, the one and only. Akon, my family is back.
Yeah, El Negrito. El Negrito.
I understood. I always thought you were important to the game for a number of reasons. Number one, the way you hold yourself as a man, the way you carry yourself.
No, thank you, brother.
As a man, and the way you handle your business was number 2. But when I recently came back from Africa, when I was sharing this with you in Johannesburg and Cape Town, and I realized how important you are to the world. You know what I mean? It's one thing to be in the States and people recognize you because you got a few songs that did well on the charts. But it's another thing when you go around the world and people recognize you for something even more than just being an artist, And I was curious for you, like I was watching this interview and you were sitting down talking about teaming up with, I want to say, is it Beacon of Light? A Beacon of Hope?
Beacon of Hope, yeah.
Beacon of Hope, and this quest to light up Africa. What has been the end result so far? What has been the latest results of that?
Oh no, I mean it's been huge.
Yeah.
So I have a utility company in Africa.
Okay.
Called ALA. Akon Lighting Africa. But the whole concept of ALA is to eventually Akon Light in Africa, Akon Light in Asia, Akon Light in America, Akon Light in Americas, which is all Latin America. So we now branched into the United States. So we have Akon Light in America now, where we're doing solar rooftops and mini grid system throughout Texas and Arizona.
How did you learn about this?
Just getting in it. Trust me, 7 years ago I knew nothing about energy.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing. But as you get excited about certain things, you just naturally educate yourself to it. And then the more you engulf yourself, you're forced to, because now you're sitting down with people that know what they're talking about. And you can't be the dumbest guy in the room.
You don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy. So you got to do your research. You got to educate yourself to it and just learn how it actually goes. And most of anything, surround yourself around people that know it and then ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. What are some of the direct results of places that didn't have access to energy now do have you witnessed? Like, what are some of the stories you've seen of families that are now experiencing having light at their disposal?
Well, practically 90% of rural Africa didn't have no electricity before we came. None. Like, the city would have maybe a small percentage, but the light would also cut off like every other hour. So they never had 24 hours of just running electricity. They may have maybe 8 hours. So they would subsidize the daytime, don't use no electricity at all, so they can have enough energy to go throughout the night. And that's in the city. The average African would just, be using kerosene or, those little lamps and sometimes candles, depending, you know what I mean? But the crazy part about it is that they weren't bothered by not having electricity because they didn't, at the time, some of them never even knew what electricity was.
Yeah. Didn't know what electricity was.
No, the impact that it brought, just seeing light in the nighttime, it was you can't even explain it.
So you witnessed people for the first time seeing their region lit up at nighttime.
100%.
What was that experience like for you?
I was shocked. But it was more so just it's a feeling you really can't explain because they look at you from a different, it's almost like it's a godly way of looking at you at that point because you're providing something that they thought never existed. So the way they look at you is different, you know? So it's just, I don't know. It's a feeling you really, I don't know how, I still haven't found words to describe that.
That's amazing. Akon is here. Yeah. I can only imagine at your house here in the States, man, like you don't leave the bathroom lights on no more, right? You ain't wasting no energy, do you?
No, it's all solar ran, all my houses now.
Wow.
All of your houses.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then that's such a
self-electrified.
Self-electrified. We got to get up on that. Akon is here. Sway in the morning, Shade 45. Self-electrified.
Right. But you know what? As a homeowner, Akon, like I see people getting that work done on their house, and obviously you get these phone calls. Would you like to have your home solar?
Yeah. Do it.
Do it.
Do it. You're gonna save yourself so much money. I'm telling you, utility companies is killing y'all.
I asked Sway last week, like, how come people can own energy? Like, the whole concept of it doesn't make sense to me.
I know what you mean.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Listen, it didn't make sense to me at all.
Right.
Because even in America, hadn't I had the portfolio in Africa, it's no way they would have let me get into the energy business here.
Wow.
Impossible.
It's
like
impossible.
They hovering over it. They keep it to
no, it's a monopoly. They're not letting you
Okay.
get a piece of that. None of that. You're not letting you get a piece of no water, no energy. I mean, alcohol. You name it. Anything that creates
Sanitation.
They can't even weed. They can't even
the only thing they honestly let us get a piece of is narcotics. The drug game is the only thing they let us get a piece of because that they need us to be able to move it for them.
Right.
And then they got a house waiting for you after.
But
they
if
finish
you
with
notice,
Yeah.
they let you get into the illegal drug business, but they will never let you get into the pharmaceutical
That's
side.
what I'm
Not the
saying.
pharmaceutical side.
Yeah.
They'll never let us.
Now, who are they?
The establishment.
There it is. And who's the establishment?
White folks. Let's just be real. I mean, let's just be real.
Yeah.
Colored people aren't in that circle.
They're not in those circles.
They just not. Unless you make such a significant impact to the point where you help bring in a huge value.
Are you bringing people of color to that circle? Now
I'm
that
trying.
Yeah.
I mean, all I can do is keep preaching, y'all need to be in Africa investing. I mean, I don't know what else more to tell you. Because believe me, I haven't put out a record since 2008.
Yeah.
I'm living more comfortable now than I ever did putting out records because of the opportunity that Africa's given us. It's ours. Like, it's ours to own it. We could do whatever. I could never own a utility company in America. I knew nothing about energy 7 years ago. Nothing. Like, absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And in a few years, just see what that projection will look like.
Did you get any drawback from any of the countries in Africa or any of the political forces in Africa that could see it might be leveraging their power away to have an independent person like yourself, a celebrity, come in and provide this for the people of rural Africa?
Well, this is the thing. When I went into traditional energy, I got a lot of feedback because I was trying to build power plants.
Okay.
Went in and found some investors to build some power plants. And then at that moment, the president was like, I would love to help you, but this is the kind of business that starts wars.
Ooh,
So
shit.
you can't.
Yeah.
So if you find another option, I'll give you the contract. And that's how the whole concept of solar came about in the first place. But solar at that time was non-threatening. No one cared. It wasn't oil, but they didn't know it was the future. I saw it was going to be the future. I mean, come on. Energy from the sun, there's no way you not see that as being the future. Eventually, all the oil is going to burn out. Then what?
All that fossil fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, natural gas is still available. You know, there's just so many different renewable energies that you can use outside of oil. Oil just at that moment was just, the biggest money maker. So that's why it was a big fight over territories in the Middle East and so on and so forth. But solar was something they all overlooked. And while they were asleep, we were just, putting it together.
Put it together while they were asleep. So that's why we see in our political climate people fighting, for fossil fuels and neglecting renewable energies. That's all a political play then.
Yeah, it's all political because right now the oil prices dropped so low. It's just like it's history. Like they not making nowhere near the kind of money that they was making back then, right? So ultimately, renewable energy is the way to go. But when you got someone like Trump who thinks more old school, he's trying to preserve that because to him, like, that's the melting pot. If I can just get that price back to where it was, I'm gonna come out of this administration a multi-billionaire. So that's why he's trying to bring back coal, which is, I don't know, like, it's dumb and stupid, but those coal jobs ain't never coming back.
They're not coming
ever.
back. Yeah.
So then now you got also those drillers in Texas, the good old boys, who handled that. And that's who orchestrated all the political wars that you see outside of America in the Middle East, because they control the oil side of it. You know, when you look at Exxon, Shell, and all these guys, it's a game that we can't even fathom playing.
Yeah.
It's not even like, it's way beyond over. It's beyond our league right now.
Beyond our
so
league.
You stay out of that game,
This
walk
is
away
bigger
from
than
it.
the
Don't think
NFL?
about it.
Yeah.
Bigger than the
NFL.
No, the NFL looks like a piggy bank compared to that.
Shit. Why are you making music again?
Man, it's my passion.
That's your passion?
I love it.
Yeah.
And it's the best way to send a message.
True.
Okay.
Music opened doors that nothing else opens for you. Like, even anything political, music will give you that door in to create a difference, make a change, or have a voice.
When you're Akon and now you're an energy provider, you're sharing this information, you're talking about new renewable energies, and then you're putting yourself in positions, like you said, in circles we never see any of us in. And if you do, you just see one or two. Do they go back to your music? Do they?
Oh, it starts with the music.
Okay, but will they go back to your music? What was the song we world premiered? Benjamin, right? And listen to the lyrics of the music and say she's for the money.
They have no idea. They don't care what I'm talking about.
Would it hurt if they deciphered that?
I mean, if they deciphered a lot of my music, it really won't, because I just speak on reality. It's nothing that I'm saying that you don't know or can't say to be true. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, if I created this false perception of who I was in my music, then they can definitely use that against me. But everything in my music is true. It's online. You ask me, I'm gonna tell you it's real.
Okay.
It's nothing they can use against me musically. And honestly, the only thing that people might take or might be a little controversial is the sex part of the content of my music. Everything else is reality, though. So, I mean, I always come at them as I am. So I don't come with a different perception of what they think I am. They come and say, listen, he's a convict, he's recovered, he's made a good thing out of his life, and he's using that as a tool to accelerate his life. And that's my story. It's nothing bigger than that. I'm not gonna come and say, oh, I'm this good old boy, I came up under a good family, I stayed out of trouble, made straight A's. Nah, I'm totally opposite. But the difference is I utilize every one of those situations to make a better situation for myself today.
And Get Money, part of the, I'm paraphrasing now as I remember, because I heard the song a couple of times. It in the hook, it talks about, don't be mad I'm paraphrasing, but don't be mad at me for what I got, what I've accomplished, or what I'm making. Just get out there and get your own money.
Yeah, don't get mad at anybody for that matter. Don't be upset at success. Don't get mad, get money. That's the whole concept. Because nowadays we always sit back and figure out what that other person ain't doing that you do better. The obvious person, like, anybody could be so, yeah, he ain't better than me though. Or, man, I tell you, he stole my song from this. Or it's always something that people utilize as an excuse for that person's success. No, the dude just worked hard and made it to where he was at. I don't know any successful person that didn't go through any turmoil in their life to get there. Nothing great comes without sacrifice. That I know for a fact. So if a person got to a certain level, believe me, he's been through something.
To get to that level.
You ain't the reason why he's there. No, he's the reason why he's there. Now, you might have been a contribution to his success, which it's going to be many people that claim that. You know what I mean? Because nobody makes it alone. Everybody's going to have a stepping stone to step on. Everybody's going to have that support system that was there when you needed it the most. But those are all pieces that God set in place for you to reach your destiny. You also have a destiny, but if you don't focus on your destiny, those pieces won't be there to hold you up. Because you're so busy worrying about that man and what you think your contribution was to his success rather than worrying about your own success.
Bars
right there. Akon is here, man. Let's play that Get Money. We got that one right there, DJ Wonder. 888-742-3345. Akon sister is here too. Kadar, what up, baby? Get Money, brand new Akon. Got a couple albums coming out. El Negrito coming out on the 30th of this month. Aconda's coming out later on in the year. ALG is his distribution company.
Yes, iconic label group.
He has a label group. You have 4 different labels that focuses on
4 different genres.
Wow.
Okay, let's talk about the Iconic label. Is you focus on?
Yeah, so the Iconic label is more like hip hop crossover. You know, what you would basically pop. Let's say pop topping chart type music.
Okay.
You know what that
you
is.
do.
The stuff I do.
Yeah. The stuff
basically,
you do.
the stuff I do.
Okay, good. He made a label for himself, Heather.
I ain't mad. Get money.
Can't
Don't
be
get mad.
man.
Get
Fuck
money.
it. We goes mad at it if you don't get paid himself. The Akonda label is
Akonda is Afrobeat.
Akonda.
That's all
Okay.
African, Caribbean.
That's Burner Boy, Mr. Easy.
That's all of that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then
you got groups already signed to all these labels?
Yeah, we got groups already signed, and they all gonna be coming out shortly after me. So I'm just putting my records out because I got 4 albums coming on each one of those labels.
Wow.
As a way of launching the label itself.
4 albums on each label.
Yeah, an album on each label.
Oh, okay, album.
So that makes it 4. So Que Lo Que is
Que Lo Que. What does that mean?
Now that's like, what's up? What we doing?
Que Lo Que.
Que
And
Lo
what
Que.
language?
That's in Spanish.
That's in
It's just spelled different. That's why.
Yeah, my bad.
It's spelled, you know,
was hype.
everything with me and Keith is spelled with a K.
Okay.
So it's Que Lo Que, Que Lo Que.
So that's gonna be like reggaeton or
That's reggaeton, Latin music, that whole genre.
okay, and then Jamaican.
And then you got Jamaican.
Jamaican.
But
Okay.
when you look at it, it says Jamaican.
Okay.
But it's Jamaican. That's just all island Caribbean music.
How do you, as a CEO, give the attention necessary to each label and each artist on those labels?
Well, I'm more worried about the quality control and the music that comes out the labels. That's easy because I do that in my sleep.
Okay.
Now, Kadar's the one that deal with running the labels and putting people in place as the label, you could say, representative that actually runs each label.
Okay. Go ahead, Heather.
You know.
You want to say something about Kadar, who's famous for?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if Kadar gonna get on the mic real quick and let
Kadar,
people
you
know
gonna
his
say
resume.
Teach us.
Talk about your resume, Kadar. Why you back there hiding? Step to the mic, son.
It's not hiding, you know. I always stay in the background. You know,
Yeah.
it's about Khan, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he
It's
does
about
do that,
visualize,
man.
You know, making sure his vision come to
Yeah.
you know, to the masses, you know, because he's been gone a while, but a lot of people forget how deep he, you know, was in the music. You know, I had the privilege of working with him from the beginning with Lockdown when I was at Universal Motown and Steve Rifkin, and he's always been, you know, a visionary. You not only deal with visionaries, you know, Erica was a visionary.
Erykah
India,
Badu.
D'Angelo, you know, Vertical Hole, you know,
Chico.
bunch.
Chico.
Chico the Barge, a bunch. So Khan is just, the uniqueness about him is that he's global. You know, and it's not just about the music form, it's about, you know, philanthropy, you know, and be, you know, a social activist, you know, not just talk about it, or I'm helping this team, or I'm doing this. It's about, okay, what are you doing for people that can't even have a television to watch football?
Right.
You know, so, you know, I want to be involved in that kind of thing. And he kind of, you know, when he came to me, said, hey, this is what I want to do, and let's figure out how we do it together. And I said, bet, because, you know, he stands for a purpose. And, you know, he stands for real music, which is what, you know, we're about, what we can appreciate, stuff that's going to last a long time. So us partnering together was just only natural, you know. So he does his thing, I do my thing, and we just come together and make sure that the masses understand, you know, where we coming from.
That man been doing this for a minute. Did you hear the names he threw out there like it was
One
nothing?
one
He
word,
said
too.
it was
First name basis,
Erykah
Erica.
Badu. You mean Erykah Badu?
Well, you know, I mean,
Sway.
You know, you mean D'Angelo?
Yeah, that's it. What I gotta do here,
India?
Con? He
India?
just took the A
What
off.
the hell?
He took the A off. He was like, Con.
Con, you know what I mean?
Heard you,
And he didn't
Kadar.
say Chico. He let me say Chico. Yeah,
Yeah.
Chico DeBarge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Sway,
what, that's
please.
what he does, though. Okay, that's my man Kedar. First person, I tell this story all the time. I never knew what turkey bacon was till me and King Tech.
Oh, wow.
So greedy.
Me and
Changed
King
your life.
Me and King Tech were walking by his house.
Let me tell the story.
You tell
right?
the story. All right.
So this is 1994.
Good. Okay, your memory's better. Yeah, about 94.
No, it was about, no. It was later. It was later.
About
It was later
97?
because I just took over. I just came to see you on President Motown, and I was sitting on the stoop in L.A.
Okay.
That part.
in L.A. right on Doheny.
Yeah,
right on Doheny.
Yeah.
And Sway was walking by, right? And he walked by, like, Sway said, Kedar, what are you doing? I said, I'm just sitting on the stoop, right? And now I see old President Motown sitting on the stoop, I'm just sitting there. He said, I'm cooking breakfast. He said, what you cooking? I said, turkey bacon. He said, turkey bacon? Like, I heard of pork and beef bacon, turkey bacon. I said, yo, come on inside, I'm going to cook you some turkey bacon. And that was like 25 years ago. And he always remember that story.
No, that's an ill-ass story. I got the president of Motown cooking me turkey bacon. What the hell?
Putting you on, son.
And we always been close, and this is my brother. So he
dope.
always,
Absolutely, man.
He always say anything you need, Key, come through. But I never asked him for anything. All I asked for, yo, cook the turkey bacon. You owe me that.
That you just asked me right there to cook the turkey bacon.
That's
Hey,
all.
you know, and you work with Akon makes so much sense. I'm concerned about you. I'm not putting nothing out there, but I know that you're embarking in areas that is going to upset a lot of folks, talking about renewable energy. Now you being an example. See, we usually hear about this, we read about it, but now you're a walking example. You haven't gotten any backlash from here in the States at all.
No, I got embraced actually in the States.
Really?
Because the beautiful part about the States is that when I came into it to start my business here, there was no African Americans in the renewable field at all.
Okay.
To this day, I'm literally the only company that's black owned that's in the renewable space in America.
The name of the company is?
Akon Lighting America.
Wow.
I know we talking music. What made you, is El Negrito your new name?
El Negrito is my Spanish name.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for, get a
The
little
other
cake.
label.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah,
my
so,
Spanish is un poquito.
Yeah.
I don't.
My Latin family know me as El Negrito. That's the black one,
Okay.
the dark one.
So you've been watching the music business. What have you, or you do not care? You just make music because it's what you feel, or you watching?
I just do it because I feel.
So you're not watching the new artists who coming out? Or?
I just know what I like. Half the new artists that's out, I don't even know who they are. I just like the songs.
Okay.
No, I'm
That's
not
the
being
real
honest.
shit.
And no disrespect. Like, I love a lot of the records out there, but I don't know who the artists are.
Okay.
I've always been bad with names.
Becky G. How'd you find Becky G?
Becky G was just dope. I always loved Becky G, though. She was always super dope to me. Because you got to think, like, people don't know how long I've been in the Latin music business.
Okay.
I've been in it since I started. Like, Locked Up. My first remix to Locked Up was with Boltio. Who was
Boltio from Puerto Rico.
From Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Then I did I Wanna Love You with the remix with Tego Calderon.
From Puerto Rico.
I've been doing this since the beginning. Like, this is not something new. I've been in that road for a long time. And then I've been like hands-on with a lot of artists coming up in there, from Wisin Yandel to Don Omar to all these guys. Like, they're all family to me.
Akon is here.
We just had Residente?
Residente from
Okay.
Calle 13 was up here not too long ago. I'm going to take some phone calls, man. You got a lot of people on the line, so I want to talk to you real quick.
No, absolutely.
Let's go to quick questions, quick answers. Dario in New Jersey. Go
what
ahead,
up,
man.
Jersey? Stand up, Dario.
Akon, I love you, bro, and I love what you're doing.
Nah, thank you, man.
On that note, what do you think? See, I'm a big fan of Michael Jackson. I know you were good friends with him.
No, absolutely.
What do you think about the whole crap with the trial shit and all that? What do you think about that? How do you feel?
Well, I mean, to me, honestly, I always thought that was propaganda. Because me knowing him personally, I knew for sure that a lot of that stuff was being created. Because Mike was into a lot.
Exactly.
Mike, people don't realize how powerful Mike was as a businessman. Like, he owned half of Sony ATV, which is one of the biggest publishing companies in the universe. I mean, they got everybody from the Beatles to Elvis to all these guys publishing. You know what I'm saying? And Mike owned 50% of it. Like, that's big.
So when the overnights with kids and all those things you
Oh,
would hear
that's
about.
bullshit. Oh, that's bullshit. See, the thing about Mike is that what Mike sympathized with a lot of kids, and what he had in common was the fact that he still felt like he was a kid because he never had a childhood. He grew up as a superstar as a kid, so he never enjoyed being a kid. So this is why he always liked to do fun things. He had this big amusement park in the back of his, in his backyard. Like, he just did fun stuff because it's all he always ever wanted to do. So even as an adult, when you become to the point where you want to you never done things and it was like just missing in your life, you just go back to do it. And Mike just liked to just have great fun. And the stuff he liked to do, adults don't like doing that.
So that got misconstrued.
100%.
They put the documentary out recently where some of his accusers came out and was reinforcing some of the stuff they said.
Then they had to retract it because those people's stories didn't add up.
Embarrassing
A lot of
Oprah
people was
like
getting
that.
paid. Then there's a lot, like you said, the establishment at that point needed to recover a lot of things that Mike had his hand on.
Did Mike used to talk about women?
Yeah, he loved girls.
Yeah?
He liked skinny models.
Skinny models.
Yeah.
Like, would he go, like, if a beautiful girl walk by, he'd go, ooh, Akon, you see
go-
that? No,
That's the voice, Sway?
No, but that was
Damn.
Yo, he nailed the voice.
No, he nailed the voice though.
Did you see her walking by?
No, like ooh, she's nice. She's nice. What do you think? She's nice.
Y'all stupid.
No, Mike was a pimp though. He loved women though. But he liked models. Like, he liked the real tall, skinny models. He didn't like girls with big booties. No, that was his
That
taste.
was his
you know?
taste, yeah.
I was like, yo, Skate, look at that. He said, no, the booty's too big.
Nah.
That's my nigga, though. I love Mike.
Rest in peace, Mike. Hey, Dario.
Yo, this question went far.
It did.
That shit went far.
Great question, Dario. JB in Denver, what you want to say to Akon?
Jay.
Man, Akon.
What's up, big dog?
First of all, blessings, man.
No,
Blessings.
thank you, man.
Wade, Heather.
Hey,
But one thing I wanted to ask, I know I watched it not too long ago. I think I seen it on Wendy Williams. He was like, come back to Africa.
Yeah, man.
I want to know, like, what's that transition like? Like, what's Africa like? So, you know, a lot of us are just Americans right now. We don't know too much about Africa.
Yeah, I know, but you got to understand, Americans know a lot about a lot of places, but they still go. And one thing about Africa is that the moment you mention Africa, people start shaking in America, especially African Americans. They just start shaking. They don't even know why. You know, it's you know, like a number was done on Americans here, African Americans, to the point where, I mean, the brainwashing was so severe that it was purposely done to make you afraid to go. Because right now, if I say, yo, let's take a trip to Cancun, for those who ain't never been, they're going to jump up oh, we got to go. Sounds great. Tourism, da-da-da. But, dude, not 20 miles down, the cartel running that whole shit. You might not even make it back if you take a taxi up there by yourself.
Yeah.
But you don't think about that part of it. You just think about the fact that it's Cancun.
the beaches.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But Africa, on the other hand, got way more than what you actually expecting to have, but the history and how it was told to you and the fear that was put into you, like, man, hell no, I'm not going over there. All the animals and you start thinking about all the stuff that's been televised, has been, you know, it's because it's a whole bunch of significant points that was actually inputted into your brain before you even realize how you was being, you know, conditioned and reprogrammed.
Yeah.
Burner Boy came here and said he doesn't even blame us.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't blame African Americans. You don't know. The only part that we feel is sad is that most of them don't wish to know. They don't care to know. Because right now, you could take a trip from here to Senegal, which is the same distance from here to LA. Same cost. Only 6.5 hours. That's it.
That's it.
From here to Africa right now, 6.5 hours. Same distance from here to New York. I mean, from New York to LA. But no one even thinks about that.
I think like that. You said you was gonna take me. It still haven't happened yet.
Oh,
Oh shit! I've been thinking about it on my own, man.
And by the way, I don't like a lot of people don't know the popularity that Sway also has in Africa. Like he's huge in Africa. Sway is like he's like a huge figure in Africa. Like he's the epitome of how they look at African Americans. Because Sway, like, he's not the ordinary African American in their eyes. You know, he's cultured. He's always talking about things that most people don't talk about. And he looks like an African. Like, people thought he was from South
I thought
Africa.
I was South African.
Yeah, they all
I
thought
see
that you was
that.
from South
I
Africa.
thought I was from Johannesburg. I ran with that shit.
Sway,
Yo, I ran with it.
Like, Sway.
It's fake so
What are you talking about? I probably am.
That's what I'm saying.
No, you definitely African. That's 100%.
Yeah, no, I know I'm African.
For sure.
You just don't know
It's a
where.
matter
Just
of
don't
where.
know where. Yeah.
We all
South Africans
Right.
already claimed them, though. They already like, no, Sway is with us.
I'm South
He is with
African.
us.
Yeah, they do. They fight for me
That's
out
my
there.
brother.
That's my people. My daughter went to Ghana and came back a new person, and she and I are going to travel to Africa. Have your kids? What do you tell your kids about Africa?
Oh, no, they all been.
They all been?
They love Africa. Yeah,
Okay.
they love Africa.
What do you tell them about business?
Business, listen, man, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Business is very simple. Just use your common sense. Does it make sense to you? Do you see yourself growing in that situation? If yes, do it. Don't think about nothing else. Because the problem is everybody thinking about how bad it can go, how wrong it can go. Oh, I don't trust this person. All that means nothing. If it makes sense and you see yourself growing in that situation, run with it.
Akon is here, man. New album, El Negrito, coming out August 30th. Wakanda soon after that. Tracy?
Akon, can you speak on a business move that didn't end the way that you thought it did? Because I think the perception is that everything Akon touches turns to gold, and that's definitely the majority of it. But still, as a human, your predictions may be off on something. What did you learn from a business?
Oh, no, a lot of business opportunities I went into didn't work out.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ones that work out are the ones that people are going to actually praise and the ones going to make it to the forefront. So that's all that really should matter. Just focus on the ones that were successful.
Okay.
And then learn from the ones that wasn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because especially if you're a hustler, anything that looks like it can go somewhere, you're gonna go. And then if you like me, you're gonna take chances on things that nobody believes in. But you're like, you know what? There's a lot of things that nobody believed in that just popped off bigger than anybody.
Super fast.
Apple being one of them. You know, Amazon being another. Like, these are things that nobody believed in. You know, no banks would finance none of that. And you like, you know what? There might be some brilliance into that. Because sometimes when nobody believes in it, that's the one thing that's gonna change the world.
Without mentioning the business, can you share some of the lessons that you found from a quote unquote failure?
That's the thing. I don't look at nothing as a failure. Like, I look at everything as a point of growth. Like, anything that, because all I look at it, the way I look at it is just, okay, I predicted wrong.
Right.
And normally when you predict wrong is because you didn't have enough education. You didn't know enough about it to make the right prediction. So I just now say, okay, cool, I need to learn more about it. But then me not predicting properly tells me how much more about it I need to learn. Because it's not that you failed. You just didn't know enough about it to be successful. You follow what I'm saying? So I never look at anything as a failure. I just look at it like, okay, now I need to know more about that to get better at it.
That makes sense.
Akon.
Even for relationships, that makes sense.
Even in relationships, same way. I predicted she's not who I thought she was.
Dang.
You learned that late.
Yeah, they say that.
But it's true. You didn't fail. You just didn't know enough about her. You thought you knew, but you didn't.
So are you having success in relationships now?
I always have success in relationships. I think relationships is all communication.
We speak
That's
about
all.
that all
That's
the
all
time.
it is. It's communication
You say
and
that all the
understanding
time,
and willing to understand the person you with.
Yeah, but how do you find a person? You're Akon. You know, people ask me this, and I'm nowhere near Akon. But how do you find a person where you could decipher what their intentions are, what the allure is about you? You know, you're Akon. You got all this
can't think
fancy
about that.
business.
Yeah,
you can't think about
Man,
that. She might be plotting on your.
I would be lonely forever.
If you thought about that.
Being who I am today, it's no way. I'd be lonely forever. All I do now is focus on the aspects and attributes of her that I like. If I love that, I'm cool. Regardless of what her intentions are. Because all that in time will show. As long as I can experience all the things I like about her in this moment in time, I'm cool.
That's a bar.
Congratulations on the energy company, on Akon as well. That's doing well.
The currency,
Cryptocurrency and everything else you're doing. We're going to play this one song called Can't Say No. Is this a world premiere?
Yeah, this is for a premiere. First
Nobody's ever played it?
Nobody's ever played it.
Coming in October.
Okay.
Album on the Iconic.
On the Iconic album in October?
October, yeah.
Okay, cool. And it's featuring who?
Nope.
Nobody?
I don't think the future yet.
Nobody?
The future comes after.
Okay. All right, cool. Akon, thanks for coming through, bro.
Nah, you already know.
All right.